Do I share? Ooh, can I share my screen? Ooh, can I share that? Yeah, that's showing. Cool. All right. I'm maybe getting into. Yeah. Well, welcome to Endocannabinoid System Talk. Today we are going to be going into just been using Grok to search some stuff up, and I'm gonna kind of go through it. But we're gonna start things off with a little music. So this is called "Dreams" from the Calm Force Native American Flute Songbook. So. All right. Well, today we're gonna go into a few things that I've been doing a lot of research on the endocannabinoid system. Actually, not new research. I've been studying this thing for 15 years, pretty hardcore. And my studies really started out. After going through some rough stuff in my life, I actually started getting on Google and was looking at some stuff. I'd suffered some PTSD, some brain trauma, and Google was kind enough to when I typed in that stuff for it to when I typed in post traumatic stress disorder and cannabis was one of the Google search options. And after I'd seen that pop up a few times, and the same thing with my brain trauma, I clicked on that and went down the path of starting to discover that we have this indigenous cannabinoid system with them. That when you also look up Google patents and type in cannabinoids and see that our government has a lot of patents on this system, there must be something about it. It's not nothing. So here we are. I'm just gonna read this stuff off and then kind of go through a few things. So the endocannabinoid system is a critical biological system that regulates numerous physiological and cognitive processes to maintain homeostasis or internal balance within the human body. Discovered in the early 90s during research into the effects of cannabis, particularly tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, the ECS has since been recognized as a complex cell signaling network with significant implications for health and disease. So something that we just barely discovered that, I mean, doctors don't know as much about it as I hope they will sooner. Hope they will soon, as they need to realize like we're missing out if we're not utilizing the system to its highest capabilities. And through more and more research, we're going to discover that this thing is truly our system within that interacts with our emotions, our it's kind of they've used the term of like kind of it's when you're taking in you've got a key that you've got to bring in to unlock stuff. And the things that were discovered first were the CB1 and CB2 receptors, and these are G protein coupled receptors located on cell surfaces that endocannabinoids bind to, triggering various physiological responses. And you got not just that, but you've also got enzymes. And what I've found is that really you got CB1 and CB2 is where you get THC interacts with them. It's the bigger molecule that kind of gets seen in the system and hits those first. Enzymes is where you a lot of times your CBD is able to get in deeper into the system. It goes past the CB1 and CB2 receptors. It gets down to the enzyme level, which we all need. We all need to get our need to be interacting with those, and kind of we'll go through and help. How do you say? Be kind of give it a scrub and kind of clean the enzymes at that deeper level. But how this plant works with everybody, this is something you've really got to do the research for yourself. You got to discover within yourself what's lacking and what needs to be added to make it work at its full potential. And on this channel, I'm going to be talking about like the molecules that are involved with the endocannabinoid system, and even some of the new discoveries that have been being discovered even more recently. With I'm gonna yeah, we'll get down to that. So here's a kind of a focus on the things that all the things that it does as far as pain modulation, mood and emotions, appetite and metabolism, which I think I brought this up before, but your endocannabinoid system helps you eat, sleep, let go, and let go is very important so that when you suffer that trauma or that pain or something like that, your body has an actual system within it to help it let go of that pain. Or when we get to childbirth, she doesn't hang on to that pain of the childbirth forever. She actually has a system within that helps her let go of it. Protect, so something to actually protect against future damage. It kind of builds your the plasticity for the mind and kind of gets you ready for those. I mean, as Tony Robbins says, the only people without problems are living in cemeteries. So it's like life does have problems, and we have a system that actually helps us get through the challenges of life. And without this system, it would be probably impossible, if I'm going to be quite honest. So, but everything from immune function to stress and response, sleep and wakefulness, reproduction and fertility, the system really does interact with, operates and interacts with a lot of different things. And it was THC that was actually discovered by Dr. Melico. I'm going to try chopping his name, but was discovered, and wasn't until many years later that the CB1 and CB2 receptors were actually discovered within the body in the 90s. Like, yeah, says like CBD does not bind directly to CB1 or CB2 receptors, but may inhibit the breakdown of endocannabinoids by enzymes like FAAH, enhancing their effects. And something I've heard, like actually something to make it so that your THC is more impactful in your body, taking CBD beforehand, before you actually consume THC, can actually allow the effects of the THC to last longer. And something that I feel like I've used cannabis a lot in my life, and definitely have overused it more, probably too many times. And right now I'm on a it's been a going on almost 3.5 months, close, yeah, getting actually pretty close to 4 months of not using the medicine, and not using cannabis, and giving my own body's endocannabinoid system a chance to really start firing off. I've been dreaming and having some pretty vivid dreams lately, and also I've been able to tap into my creativity more as far as like playing the Native American flute, playing the harmonica, drawing, and getting more into artwork, and working on a few. I've got a few books out on Google Play Books, working on a few more. So there, you can overuse this medicine to the point where you get kind of, it's a very sticky medicine too. And just actually finished up an ayahuasca ceremony this last weekend, and something that I finally have felt more than I've ever felt before during the ceremonies. So I got to feel in my mind the medicine get in and really get into some areas where got conked on the head pretty hard. I had 22 staples. I'm still actually deaf in my left ear. The head injury I suffered 15 years ago. So I wasn't a light hit to the head. I was in a hospital induced coma for 8 days from the hit to the head. And luckily came to and was able to teach myself going. And I'm very grateful for cannabis, the medicine that it has provided in my life, as far as with pain and many other things, to heal and I am now. And why I feel so inclined to start this channel and begin sharing all this information. So as we go through, it's like we see this. It's a very it's still being understood. It's not an ABC 1 2 3 process for this system. It's there's still much to learn and explore, and but we've got to be aware of it. We've got to. This is a system that is within us, and if you're not paying any attention to it, or you don't even, I'm still running into people that don't even know anything about the endocannabinoid system. And so it's like, how could the system actually be working its full functionality we're not talking about it, we're not interacting with it, we're not even aware of it. It's like gonna be doing its best, but you gotta have awareness of things for things to yeah, you gotta be like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be eating all that junk food because it actually dampens the endocannabinoid system. And maybe I shouldn't be enjoying so much alcohol because it can dampen your endocannabinoid system and other things. And also maybe I shouldn't be using cannabis without intentions and just kind of just chasing a high because now I'm and you're watching enough videos out there like people that have actually used cannabis at a young age and then as they get to old close to the age of 25, 30, where you have kind of a change in your body, a lot of people end up having, and I've not not just saying this, I've actually had talks with nurses where they've had people that are now puking and stuff like that whenever they try and use cannabis because, well, when their cannabis endocannabinoid system was running at its best, which is in your younger years, which is why when you fall and kind of can you bounce back up, it's like, yeah, your system's firing off. And as long as you have got a good diet and stuff like that, not to say everybody's, it's most people should be there. At least I was like that. I was a pretty resilient child growing up, and wasn't until some major life events happened that I turned to. And I was at the age of 27 that I finally turned to cannabis as a means of healing over doing the pharmaceutical route that they were wanting to put me down. So what's just been discovered, and I just discovered this, like this is new news to me just within the last few weeks, is this pentadecanoyl carnitine is a recently identified compound naturally produced by the body in the endocannabinoid system. And it was discovered in 22 during studies on dolphins, which I think is just freaking cool. So, and it seems like PDC seems to fully activate CB1 and CB2 receptors, which are like locks on the ECS that help control various body functions. So we now have this brand new piece in our puzzle that's within us, pentadecanoyl carnitine, or PDC. I'll use it for short. And the fact that it can help with stuff with chronic pain, inflammatory conditions, and mood disorders due to its anti-inflammatory properties really interests me. Like I plan on doing much more research into this thing that we've just discovered and seeing how it can actually help me in more in my further healing and growth within. So yeah, and it looks like the fact that it's another part that different than even like an andamide is the thing that you feel when that's like your runner's high. So when you have a really good run and you kind of stop and you feel that flow in your body, that's an andamide, or the bliss molecule activated and running through your body. So it'll be cool to kind of see what PDC truly how it truly interacts with well, kind of even says right here the levels that it interacts with us and where might I see the thing about histamine receptors. It could be cool. Could this be the answer? Could PDC and getting it in its fullest thing help people that have allergies, or who knows? Like we're always always trying to learn more about ourselves and the things that affect us. And this now I'm going to just read off these therapeutic potentials. PDC's broad spectrum of activities make it a promising candidate for treating various health conditions. Chronic pain, its role in pain modulation through CB1 and CB2 receptors can provide relief for neuropathic and chronic pain, aligning with the ECS's known pain regulating functions. Inflammatory diseases, its anti inflammatory effects could benefit conditions like arthritis, autoimmune disorders, and inflammatory skin diseases, giving it its ability to lower inflammatory markers in cell systems. Mood disorders, interactions with serotonin receptors may help regulate mood, potentially aiding conditions like anxiety and depression, which how many pharmaceutical drugs are out there for that? Too many to count. Through clinical, though even clinical evidence is still emerging, so we're still studying it. Sleep disturbance, while less studied, its role in the ECS suggests it might influence sleep regulation, warranting further investigation. I like that. Like I said, eat and sleep are two big things that the endocannabinoid system affects and works with. And as we know, when people use cannabis, a lot of time people use it to help with eating or to go to sleep. So there's definitely some truth behind that. And other potential applications research indicates PDC may also have anti-proliferative effects, which could be relevant for cancer research. Those area requires further exploration. So this thing we just discovered in 2022, of course, we need further exploration on it, but that doesn't mean that's cool that we just discovered another part of our endocannabinoid system just in the last 3 years. So your doctor might not know about this because it's pretty new information. So it's up to you to continue to research and discover that system within you and how you can take care of it better from everything from shoot, well, I'm gonna go through this part right here. So eating a balanced diet. So focusing on omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. These are the building blocks of endocannabinoids. Aim for a balanced ratio, ideally 1 to 1 or 1 to 4, by eating foods like salmon, mackerel, flax seeds, walnuts, and hemp seeds. Add polyphenol-rich foods, berries, green tea, dark chocolate. Who doesn't like dark chocolate? Contain polyphenols, which may help the ECS by slowing the breakdown of endocannabinoids. And of course, limiting sugar and processed foods. Definitely, if you go down in many of the aisles in the grocery market and look at the amount of sugar that's put into a lot of our foods, there's a opting for whole foods instead is definitely an advantage. Exercising regularly, physical activity boosts endocannabinoid levels and enhances ECS function. So get moving. Aim for 30 minutes of moderate exercise a day, like walking, running, or cycling. Like just and like this talks about it again. This increases anandamide linked to the runner's high and supports brain health. Consistency matter. Regular exercise helps the ECS protect your nervous system and reduce stress. So get off that couch, get off from behind that computer, and get out and exercise. Minimum 30 minutes a day, but make it an hour, make it consistent. Don't be like just a few times a week, like every day of the week. Maybe give yourself 1 day off, but get out and exercise because it helps. This system helps manage stress, which, yeah, we know that. So meditation, yoga, or even doing deep breathing techniques like or breath work definitely can help your endocannabinoid system be more activated. And then, of course, avoiding toxins. If you're heavily drinking all the time, you're going to be messing with your receptors. I don't know how much more to say that. Like, keep it in moderation. Like, but if you're putting down, I don't know, like a 12 pack of 6 pack of beer every night, you're probably not going to be utilizing your endocannabinoid system to its fullest functionality. So, and enjoying and reducing environmental toxins like choosing good foods, filtered water, lowering your exposure to pesticides and heavy metals. And I think we're all learning more. We're learning more and more about that every day. How that stuff has seeped into many parts of our food system, and finding the best food for your body is definitely a task. It's not as going to farmers markets and stuff like that definitely can help. And then of course, prior to prioritize sleep, aiming for quality sleep and getting on a good schedule there definitely is going to help your ECS work properly. Uh, and then of course it talks a little bit about consider supplementation with caution. CBD found in hemp can definitely help boost the endocannabinoid levels by slowing their breakdown. And that's the thing, CBD actually slows down the breakdown of indigenous cannabinoids, which is kind of cool. THC definitely has its use, but CBD is definitely a more well-rounded. Like you can take it continuously, and it's not going to have the effect of making you maybe like like I said, somebody who used cannabis a lot definitely used it to escape things to some degree. THC, I see as if you're using it with an intention and a purpose, it can be used for creativity and just keep it for the weekends, maybe. Like if you're for during the week, or if you can't go a few days without it, you're probably using it too much. As I think a good social media guy, Ryan Sprague, that does a lot of stuff about cannabis, talks about it's like, yeah, like the medicine owns you if you can't take a 3 4 day break off of it every week. Like being honest there. And then of course, learn about your ECS, understand its role, understand how the ECS system works, how receptors and enzymes keep your body balanced. Track your habits, like how your diet, exercise, and sleep affects you. Kind of just keeping tabs on stuff. Like if I definitely can tell when I've had a few nights where I've stayed up a little bit too late, or I've kind of maybe cheated and gone out and eaten out a bit more in a week than I normally do, and I definitely feel that effect on my system. So taking care of your ECS system, it's something we've got to be mindful of. It's a part of us, and people. or sometimes they know about all the other systems that are within us, like, but the endocannabinoid system is a newer discovery, so it's still something we're learning about, but we don't know nothing about it. So it is something to be mindful of and to do your own research so you can be more mindful of it. So, all right, I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit, but back to PDC a little bit. Summaries of PDC activity. It's a receptor antagonist, at a few different levels, and yeah, there's definitely I've probably got to dig into some of these science articles on this subject specifically and learn more about it. And let's see, oh, yeah, there we go. We'll get back up to that. So yeah, I just wanted to do a kind of a good little talk about the endocannabinoid system and discussion on it. And I'll definitely be posting more on this channel. And if I will come back if I see anything in the comments. If you guys want me to dig something into something specific or spend more time on a specific part of the endocannabinoid system, it's a beautiful system within us. I've got a lot of research and books uh, I'm definitely going to be pulling up a few magazines with some cool articles, and we'll go into all of that stuff on this channel and continue to learn and know more about this system within that is there to keep us running strong. So thanks for checking out Endocannabinoid System Talk or ECS Talk, and hope you guys all have an amazing week this week.